Hi and welcome back. I'm glad you found time today to get on your mat. Today's class I'm particularly excited about because it's in honor of my students. When we were in the classroom together pre-pandemic, I would often ask, are there any requests? And my number one was hips. My number two was shoulders. So this is a class in honor of my students for some hip and shoulder openers, and we're going to get started right away. So make sure you have some props for this class. Blanket, pillow, strap would be helpful, or a belt, or a long sleeve shirt that you can pull taut. And we'll get started in hero's pose. I'm going to place a block in between my feet to sit upon. You could use a pillow or a blanket or just sit on your heels. When you get here, let's take a quiet moment and close our eyes if that's comfortable. Linking mind to our breath, noticing how you showed up today, how you feel in your body. What are the quality of thoughts in your mind? And how are you feeling in your heart region? Let's just say that we could all use a little ray of light in our heart. And imagine a ray of light coming through the room, landing on your heart, and starting to spiral there, warming it gently, staying with you during your practice today. And then let's grab our straps. You're gonna hold your strap pretty wide here, have it be a little bit taut. And then in our inhale, we're gonna reach up overhead. And then exhale, bring it back and down. Nice, again, inhale to reach up. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale to reach up. Slowly exhale, bringing it back, maybe tucking your chin. Inhale to bring it up. Exhale, bring it forward. One more time, inhale, reaching up overhead. Exhale, very slowly, back and down. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bring it forward. You can put that strap aside for a second. We're going to take our fingertips to the tops of our shoulders now. And then inhale, reach your elbows upward. Exhale, back and down. Rolling open our shoulders, inhale up. Exhale, round. Again, inhale up. Exhale, round. Nice. From here, taking our arms out to the side, we're going to cross our left elbow underneath our right, giving our shoulders a hug, tucking your chin. Inhale, re-extend your arms. This time, right elbow under left, touching your shoulders, giving them a hug, dropping your chin. Really nice. Re-extend those. From here, removing your block. If you're sitting on one, we're going to come down onto our backs for a moment. And when you get there, take your feet up into the sky. Place that block or another soft object in between your feet and take your hands up towards the ceiling. Imprint your lower back on the mat. We're going to inhale to lower feet and arms overhead. And then exhale, bring them back up, transferring that block to your hands. Take another inhale to lower. Exhale to transfer. Inhale to lower. Exhale to transfer. One more time. Inhale to lower. Exhale to transfer. And then go ahead and lower that block down. Moving it off to the side. Moving into our hips now. Crossing our right ankle over our left, gently applying forward pressure to that leg. And then here, instead of being stagnant, just kind of swaying side to side. Pausing where it feels good in your body. And then staying here, or you can peel your left foot off the mat, interlacing your fingers. Exhale, lower both feet back down, switching sides. Swaying side to side. And then staying here if this feels good, or peeling your right foot off the mat, interlacing your fingers behind your right thigh, drawing inward gently. Nice. Go ahead and lower both feet. Let's take both knees towards the right, gaze towards the left. And then bring both knees inward and switch sides, gazing in the opposite direction. Bringing your knees inward, crossing those ankles in the air, holding onto the backs of your legs, rocking forward and back until you rock all the way up, and then coming into tabletop position. From here, we're going to step our right foot to the outside of our right hand, and then tuck your left toes, lift your left knee, and move it back slightly. And we're going to just settle into this shape. So moving into the outside of our right hip area, you can stay on your hands, you can come onto fists if you have wrist sensitivities, or if you have blocks at home, you can come onto forearms onto your blocks. Or if you have the space today, you can come onto forearms onto your mat. So many options, kind of exploring that, see what feels good today, and then settle into stillness. Take another breath here in through your nose, and then let it out. Helping yourself up as you start to straighten that right leg. Frame it with your hands, coming onto fingertips or blocks, and then crawling towards your foot until you reached your edge, settling in. Now starting to rebend that same leg, bring your hands inward, sinking in to another hip opener here. Not staying long, creating some movement and warmth, starting to straighten that leg again, framing it, crawling towards your foot. And then bringing your knees together, we're going to tuck all 10 of our toes forward. You may need to manually hold on to your pinky toes if they don't make the team. And then if your feet feel tight, you're probably going to be leaning forward, resting on your hands. Otherwise, the direction is moving back towards sitting on your heels. If you've never explored stretching your feet before, you may be here, especially because we strap them in shoes all day, and you wear shoes that maybe aren't great for anatomy, but they look good. You're going to want to be gentle if you're stretching your feet out for the first time, intentionally anyway. And then coming out of that, back to tabletop, we're going to step our left leg forward, placing that foot on the outside of your hand, setting up for a second side, sinking in. Perhaps noticing if you tend to be tighter on your left hip than your right, or vice versa, and just noticing without judgment. Approaching your edge with grace. Taking another nice long breath here. And then slowly starting to straighten that leg, framing it with your hands, leading with your heart, crawling towards your foot. And then rebending that left leg, placing your hands on the inside of your foot. Re-straightening that leg, framing it, crawling towards your foot. And then bringing your knees together. Really nice. From here, we're going to take our hands to our sacrum, the lowest part of our back, with your fingers pointing downward. Draw your elbows in towards one another. Support your lower back as you take a gentle back bend. If you're feeling more bendy in your back, you can place your left fingertips on your left heel and your right fingertips on your right heel and come into full camel. Wherever you are, bringing your hands back to your lower back and then helping yourself back up. Really nice. From here, you're going to step forward to the top of your mat. Come into come into Tadasana for a moment. And then inhale, reach those hands upward. Exhale, bring them down to your heart. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hinging at the hips, bending your knees, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, bringing some warmth into our bodies. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a generous step back with your left foot, setting up for warrior two, heel arch alignment. Inhale, flip your front hand. Exhale, take it back. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale, warrior two. Turning your foot inward, coming to the width of your mat. Turning your left foot forward. Warrior two, second side. Inhale, flip your front hand. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale, warrior two. And then exhale, take your feet in. Nice, and from here we're gonna hinge at the hips, take a wide forward fold. And then a little different than in the past, when we've been here, you're gonna bend your left leg, bring your hands towards that foot, and straighten your right leg. And then stay low, kind of like you're a hardcore rollerblader. Bringing your hands towards your right foot, straighten your left. Stay low, crawl through center, back towards your left foot. Nice. Go through the middle, opposite foot, and then come back to center. Let your head dangle here. Take another huge breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, let out a sigh. Hands towards your hips, tuck your chin, and slowly, very slowly come to rise. Really nice. We're gonna set up for pigeon pose. So you're gonna need a blanket or a pillow for this. You may also want a second pillow or a block. To set up for pigeon, there's many ways to get there, but I'm gonna take you in a way that's the most gentle. So we're gonna start in tabletop. And from tabletop, you're gonna take your right knee towards your right wrist. Then you're gonna grab onto your left ankle and start to angle your leg, making the shape of a triangle. If your hips are tight, the angle is not going to look like this. This being your thigh, your knee, and your shin, you're probably gonna want to have an angle a little bit more in this direction. And then from here, you're gonna tuck your left toes, lift your knee, and start to slide that leg back until you feel parallel to your mat. You're gonna have some space here in between your hip and your mat, unless you're very open in your hips. So that's where you're gonna use your blanket or your block to tuck it under so that your hip isn't elevated. You wanna feel like you can rest on something and release your hip. So get very comfortable, make sure you're tucking something in underneath there, and then you're gonna come and rest down onto your mat. Now, if your forehead doesn't reach comfortably, bring the floor up to you. Grab a block, grab a pillow, and rest your forehead on it. One of my yoga teachers once told me that in order to really elongate your muscles, you need to stay in a pose for somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes. So it's important that you set this pose up to feel comfortable in it. If you feel awkward or there's pain, chances are you're not going to want to invite this into your life on a regular basis. So that's why I love props so much. Really setting up to get comfortable so you can just feel like you can relax here. Maybe even read a book, listen to music. walk you out of this pose. It's really important to come out of poses mindfully. So first taking your palms down to help press yourself up, and then leaning your weight onto that hip. You can swing your back leg forward, removing your prop. We're going to come into a counter stretch of our hips, so coming into downward dog just for a moment. When you're here, lifting your right leg up into the air and then bending at the knee. We're going to stack our hips, coming into three-legged dog, and then just take some circular motions in the air with your foot. Nice. Lower that foot back down. Lower down back onto your knees. And then we're going to switch to our second side. So in tabletop, moving your prop to the left-hand side. Bringing your left knee towards your left wrist. Grabbing hold of your foot. Moving into an angle that works for you. And then tucking your right toes, lifting your right knee. Starting to slide that leg back. Taking your prop now, tucking it underneath your left hip, and then resting down. So I can share with you a story while we're here, since we'll be here for a minute, or you can just allow my words to float over you. What turned me to yoga was I was an athlete, and I started to experience chronic back pain. So I needed to leave my sport, and I turned to yoga to try to find some relief, in which I did. And what I learned through the process was I used to think of my back as a singular entity, as if it existed all by itself and I just had a bad back. When in fact, I've learned that my back pain was very much linked and intertwined with tight hips and very tight hamstrings, and not focusing on activating my core when I stand or sit. I started to see my body from more holistic approach. And that by turning my attention and my care to different parts of my body that previously had been neglected, I started to feel better in my body, experience less pain. I'm really grateful for that. I believe in it, and that's why I became a teacher in hopes of reaching you, sharing what I've learned and what's helped me in my life. So there's your story. Now we can get out of the pose. So again, taking your hands to your mat, slowly coming onto that hip, taking your time, removing your prop, setting up for downward dog. And then taking that left leg up in the air, bend the knee, stack your hips. Make some circular motions with your foot. And then lower your foot, lower your knees, and come onto our backs. When you get there, just lie down for a moment to check in with yourself again. Then focus more intentionally on relaxing your shoulders. That got stretched today, finding a bend in your elbow that allows for total release. Bringing your attention back to that ray of light that we invited into our hearts, that encompassed our entire bodies. Now imagine sending that ray to your left shoulder, softening it onto the ground beneath you and starting to spiral from the top of your left shoulder all the way down your left bicep, your left forearm, your left palm. Maybe noticing the vibrational qualities of your left hand. And then another ray now landing gently on your right shoulder, softening it onto the ground, spiraling down your right biceps, your right forearms, your right palm, noticing the vibrational quality there. And then wiggling out your toes to see if you can help soften your hips further down onto your mat. And then settling into stillness again. If you have the time, you can stay here resting for a few minutes longer. If not, go ahead now and roll onto one side, pausing there for a moment. And then pushing yourself up to a comfortable seat. Thank you for joining the hips and shoulder class. I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know. And I hope you have an awesome day. Namaste.